Hurricane Ian left a path of destruction in southwest Florida, trapping people in flooded homes, damaging the roof of a hospital intensive care unit and knocking out power to 2 million people before aiming for the Atlantic coast. One of the strongest hurricanes to ever hit the United States barreled across the Florida peninsula overnight Wednesday, threatening catastrophic flooding inland, the National Hurricane Center warned. In Port Charlotte, along Florida's Gulf Coast, the storm surge flooded a lower-level emergency room in a hospital even as fierce winds ripped away part of the roof from its intensive care unit, according to a doctor who works there. Water gushed down onto the ICU, forcing staff to evacuate the hospital's sickest patients, some of whom were on ventilators, to other floors, said Dr. Birgit Bodini of HCA Florida Fawcett Hospital. Staff members used towels and plastic bins to try to mop up the sodden mess. The medium-sized hospital spans 4 floors, but patients were forced into just 2 because of the damage. Bodini planned to spend the night there in case people injured from the storm arrive needing help. As long as our patients do okay and nobody ends up dying or having a bad outcome, that's what matters, Bodini said. Law enforcement officials in nearby Fort Myers received calls from people trapped in flooded homes or from worried relatives. Pleas were also posted on social media sites, some with video showing debris-covered water sloshing toward homes' eaves. Brittany Haler, a journalist in Pittsburgh, contacted rescuers about her mother in North Fort Myers, whose home was swamped by 5 feet, 1.5 meters, of water. "We don't know when the water's going to go down. We don't know how they're going to leave. Their cars are totaled," Haler said. Her only way out is on a boat. Hurricane Ian turned streets into rivers and blew down trees as it slammed into southwest Florida on Wednesday with 150 miles per hour, 241 kilometers per hour, winds, pushing a wall of storm surge. Ian's strength at landfall was Category 4 and tied it for the 5th strongest hurricane, when measured by wind speed, to ever strike the U.S. Ian dropped in strength by late Wednesday to Category 1 with 90 miles per hour, 144 kilometers per hour, winds as it moved overland. Still, storm surges as high as 6 feet, 2 meters, were expected on the opposite side of the state, in northeast Florida, on Thursday. And hurricane-force winds were expected across central Florida through early Thursday with widespread catastrophic flooding likely, the Miami-based Hurricane Center said. No deaths were reported in the United States from Ian by late Wednesday, but a boat carrying Cuban migrants sank Wednesday in stormy weather east of Key West. The U.S. Coast Guard initiated a search and rescue mission for 23 people and managed to find 3 survivors about 2 miles, 3 kilometers, south of the Florida Keys, officials said. 4 other Cubans swam to Stock Island, just east of Key West, the U.S. Border Patrol said. Air crews continued to search for possibly 20 remaining migrants. The storm previously tore into Cuba, killing 2 people and bringing down the country's electrical grid. The hurricane's eye made landfall near Cayo Costa, a barrier island just west of heavily populated Fort Myers. As it approached, water drained from Tampa Bay. More than 2 million Florida homes and businesses were left without electricity, according to the PowerOutage.us site. Nearly every home and business in 3 counties was without power. Sheriff Bull Prummel of Charlotte County, just north of Fort Myers, announced a curfew between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. for life-saving purposes, saying violators may face second-degree misdemeanor charges. "I am enacting this curfew as a means of protecting the people and property of Charlotte County," Prummel said. The Weather Underground predicted the storm would pass near Daytona Beach and go into the Atlantic before veering back ashore in South Carolina on Friday. The governors of South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia and Virginia all preemptively declared states of emergency. Forecasters predicted Ian will turn toward those states as a tropical storm, likely dumping more flooding rains into the weekend. Associated Press contributors include Cristina Mesquita in Havana, Cuba, Cody Jackson and Adriana Gomez-Licon in Tampa, Florida, Frida Frisaro in Miami, Anthony Azaguirre in Tallahassee, Florida, Mike Schneider in Orlando, Florida, Seth Borenstein and Amr Madani in Washington, Bobby Kana Calvin in New York, Andrew Welsh Huggins in Columbus, Ohio, Jay Reeves in Birmingham, Alabama, and Alina Hartunian in Phoenix, Arizona.